Halloween is the first big holiday of the biggest selling season of the year, and where many print-on-demand sellers see large income spikes in their businesses. According to this Printify blog article, in 2023, Americans alone spent $12 billion on Halloween-related festivities. That's an average of $108 per person on Halloween. They also say here, Halloween is no ordinary holiday, it's a financial powerhouse. But Halloween sales aren't just happening in October, they're happening right now. And check this out. The article goes on to say, timing is everything. Our data shows that sales for Halloween-related products start picking up 12 weeks before the main event. That means you must have your products, designs, and campaign elements ready by early August. The data is clear. Now is the time to get your products listed if you want to profit from the Halloween demand. So let's look at the product research to identify some best-selling Halloween designs backed by data, so you can create for the demand to make more sales and grow your brand. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Adrian. I've generated multiple 7 figures in revenue across 2 apparel brands, and I help people make money online with Shopify and print on demand. My goal is to create the most positive and supportive community of print on demand sellers here on YouTube. So if that's you, join us by subscribing and interacting in the comments. I hopped into Etsy, which is one of my favorite places for product research. And here we can see that there are currently 2,300 monthly searches for the term Halloween tees. When I run that search filtered by bestseller, we can see a number of popular now and best-selling designs. But what I want to do is point out some common trends amongst the bestsellers and then analyze the data to validate that they're making a high volume of sales. And this leads me to our first design trend and what I believe is going to be one of the biggest Halloween trends of 2025, retro ghosts. Just from the results of our broad Halloween tee search, we can see retro ghosts everywhere. We've got this retro ghost cat design, this retro ghost cottagecore floral design. We've got this retro ghost roasting marshmallows, retro ghost reading a book, retro ghost nurse shirt, retro ghost Western inspired design. I think you get the idea. But let's drill down further on one of these shirts. I selected this retro ghost roasting marshmallow shirt here. As we can see, it has the Etsy's pick badge. It's currently in over 20 carts. And let's go ahead and analyze this listing using Everbee. In case you're unfamiliar, Everbee is my favorite product research tool because it allows you to quickly find and validate winning products like this one that we can then use as inspiration to create original designs for our niche. I've linked Everbee below this video where you can try it for free or get a special offer on the growth plan, which is what I use. Here we can see that this listing is only 3 months old. It's estimated to have made $1,900 in revenue in the last month. And when I scroll to one of my favorite Everbee features, the trends graph, we can see here that it's had a 400% growth rate in the last month. Another feature I really like is the all-time growth rate so that we can see a snapshot of how this listing is performed from the very beginning. And check that out. It has an estimated revenue of $2,500 in sales with a 6,900% growth rate. Keep in mind, this is only 3 months old. Look at that trend graph, up and to the right. This is what I love seeing when I'm researching. And this graph is a powerful tool when trend spotting, which is exactly what we're doing right now. To show you an example, I created this retro ghost design using Playground and then added it to a Comfort Colors t-shirt in Printify. This here is a realistic image of the shirt, and here's how it looks on a trendy mock-up I purchased in Etsy. This next trend I actually first started seeing in major retailers like Michael's back in June, and now I'm starting to see it everywhere. I'm calling this trend Girly Ghosts because that's exactly what it is. Here on Michael's website, you can see what I'm referring to. It's these very feminine ghosts, many times with pink coquette style bows. I went ahead and filtered their sweet and spooky collection by bestseller, and many of these top sellers have that girly ghost aesthetic. When I go back to the original Etsy bestseller search, right near the top of the results, we see this Girly Ghost t-shirt here, and we see this Girly Ghost floral t-shirt. Both of these designs have the popular now badge, and they're both only 1 to 2 months old. When I hop into the listing for this t-shirt here, we can see it has the bestseller badge and it's currently in over 20 carts, which is pretty crazy because when I analyze this listing, we can see that it's only 1 month old. In fact, it's so new that the sales data hasn't even populated yet. When doing research, I noticed that many of these girly ghost designs have been listed in the last 1 to 2 months, and I expect a whole lot more of them to become become best sellers very soon, like the two shirts we looked at. As an example of the girly ghost niche, I created this design for the nurse niche using Playground and then added it to a trendy comfort colors tee in Printify. This is a realistic image of the t-shirt, and here's how it looks on a trendy mock-up I purchased on Etsy. Just before I reveal trend number 3, I wanted to mention that I've included links below for all of my favorite print-on-demand tools, along with any free trials, discounts, or special offers. Thank you in advance for using any of those links. Sponsors and affiliates support the channel at no extra cost to you and allow me to create more free content like this, which I hope you're finding super helpful. Red hot Halloween trend number 3 is black cats. Black cats have always been synonymous with Halloween, and there are so many popular now and best-selling shirts that incorporate black cats in their designs. And I don't know if you caught this earlier, but check out how many of these best-selling designs feature black cats. We've got this t-shirt which features retro ghosts with black cats. There's a black cat featured in this stamp design tee. We've got a black cat featured in this vintage tee with Halloween elements. We've got a black cat featured in this retro ghost reading design. We've got this Van Gogh style black cat design. We've got this embroidered sweatshirt with black cats and pumpkins. The list goes on. So let's go ahead and analyze this retro ghost with black cats t-shirt. Here we can see that this listing has the bestseller badge. It's currently in over 20 carts, and let's go ahead and analyze it. Here we can see that it's actually 13 months old, and the estimated monthly revenue in the last month is $1,700. And even though we can see on the trends graph that the growth rate is down 100%, it's still estimated to have made $1,700 in the last month this early. Let's go ahead and zoom out a bit. I'm going to look at the 6-month view, and wow, that paints a very different picture. Here we can see that it's estimated to have brought in $4,300 in revenue with a 5,000% growth rate. And look at how this graph is trending up and to the right. Here it's very clear that sales are starting to accelerate. Next, let's actually look at one of my favorite views, and that's the all-time. What I really love about this view is that it allows us to make data-backed predictions about how a design is going to trend. So for example, if we look at last year when this was around, we can see that it was listed around May, June. Sales start to pick up in July. Then they absolutely blew up in August and then peaked in September. And if we look at the most recent part of the graph, we can see that it's starting to repeat that same pattern with June sales trending upwards. Soon we'll receive the July data, and my guess is that this will have made a lot more sales. Here's another example of a much newer black cat design that's selling very well right now. We can see it has the bestseller badge. It's currently in over 20 carts. And when I analyze the listing, we can see that this listing is only 2 months old. It's estimated to have brought in $4,200 in revenue in the last month, and it has a 67% growth rate in the last month. Let's go ahead and look at the all-time view here and check that out. We have a very clear upward trend. Again, this listing is only 2 months old. It's estimated to have brought in $4,400 in revenue with a 12,500% growth rate. As an example for the black cat niche, I created this design using Playground and then added it to a trendy comfort colors tee in Printify. This is a realistic view of the shirt, and here's how it looks on a trendy mock-up that I purchased on Etsy. And red hot trend number 4 for Halloween 2025 is literary girl. This niche has been huge in 2025 and it continues to dominate. This niche was even featured in Etsy's latest trends report, where they revealed that there were nearly 20,000 book-related purchases happening on Etsy every day. And Etsy's just where a small fraction of purchases take place. But I've also recently seen Halloween-inspired designs for this niche pop up at the major retailers like Michael's, where we can see this feminine skeleton sitting on a stack of books and this boo book ornament featuring doodle art design elements. And I don't know if you caught it earlier, but check out how many of these best-selling designs feature books. We've got the Salem Witch Book Club shirt, the Ghost Reading shirt. We've got this tarot-inspired The Reader shirt. We've got Read in Peace. The list goes on. So let's go ahead and analyze one of these listings. I selected this Ghost Reading shirt. Here we can see it has the Etsy's pick badge. It's currently in over 20 carts. And when I analyze the listing, we can see that it's 13 months old. It's estimated to have have generated $1,800 in sales in the last month. And although the growth rate here is down 100%, $1,800 in revenue in the last month is very good for a Halloween design this early. To get a longer term view, let's go ahead and check out the last 6 months. So here we can see that it's estimated to have brought in $7,800 in revenue in the last 6 months with a 56% growth rate. And when we look at this longer term curve, we can see it starting to trend upwards. And let's also look at the all time to predict how this is going to trend. So here we can see that this design was listed around May of last year. Sales started to pick up in July. Then they absolutely exploded in August. Check that out, 1,400 sales. And then here we can see they peaked in September with 1,900 sales. And check this out. This design is estimated to have made over $200,000 in revenue since it was first listed last year with a 4,200% growth rate. And although it looks pretty small, we can actually start seeing the curve trending upward. And when we see that sales data for July, I'm predicting that this is going to have increased and continue to increase as we get closer to Halloween. Here's an example of a design I created for the book lover niche using Playground and added it to a trendy Comfort Colors tee in the color Pepper, which by the way is one of the best-selling colors right now. And here's what the design looks like on a trendy mock-up I purchased in Etsy. And there you have it. 4 proven Halloween design trends that you can blend with your niche to capitalize on this massive selling occasion. If you enjoyed this design trend video and you want to see more like this, comment the word trends below so I know to keep them coming. As always, I've created a bunch of free resources which you can find below, including my podcast called the Print on Demand Podcast, where I teach growth and marketing strategies to make money online with Shopify and print on demand.